Learn English through story. Secrets beneath the surface. The quaint coastal town of Miramont was known for its breathtaking views of the ocean, its picturesque harbors, and its tightly knit community. The town had a charm that beckoned tourists, yet those who lived there understood that beneath the serene exterior lay untold stories and buried secrets. Among the residents was Leila Bennett, a woman in her early 40s, whose life appeared idyllic from the outside. A successful marine biologist, she dedicated her days to studying the ocean's wonders and protecting its fragile ecosystems. Her colleagues admired her passion and expertise, and her students looked up to her as a mentor. Yet, unbeknownst to them, Leila carried the weight of a long-held secret, one that had shaped her entire existence. Leila had grown up in Miramont, surrounded by a loving family, but her childhood was not without turmoil. When she was a teenager, her older brother, Daniel, vanished without a trace. The family was devastated. His disappearance left a gaping hole in their lives. Over the years, Leila had learned to suppress her grief and pretend that everything was fine, but the pain lingered like a ghost. The town, while beautiful, was a constant reminder of her loss, and the memory of Daniel haunted her. As Leila walked along the beach one sunny afternoon, collecting samples for her research, her thoughts drifted to her brother. She remembered the adventures they shared, exploring tide pools, sailing boats, and diving into the ocean's depths. Daniel had been her confidant and her protector, always encouraging her to chase her dreams. Losing him had robbed her of not just a sibling, but also a piece of her heart. That evening, Leila attended a town hall meeting about environmental concerns threatening Miramont's coastline. The community gathered to discuss rising sea levels, pollution, and the impact of climate change. As she sat among her neighbors, Leila felt a sense of camaraderie, yet a part of her remained distant. She wondered how many of them harbored their own secrets beneath their smiles. During the meeting, a newcomer caught Leila's attention. His name was Jake Marshall, a marine conservationist who had recently moved to Miramont. He was passionate, articulate, and seemed genuinely invested in the town's well-being. Leila found herself drawn to him, not just for his charisma but also for the way he spoke about the ocean, a language she had longed to hear from someone who understood its complexities. After the meeting, Leila approached Jake. "I enjoyed your presentation. It's refreshing to hear someone so passionate about conservation." "Thank you," Jake replied, his eyes lighting up. "I believe we need to take action before it's too late. The ocean is not just a resource, it's a living entity that deserves our respect." Leila nodded, feeling an unexpected connection with him. As they chatted, she found herself opening up about her research, the struggles she faced, and the deep bond she had with the ocean. For the first time in years, she felt seen and understood. Days turned into weeks, and Leila and Jake began spending more time together. Their shared passion for marine life blossomed into a friendship that felt almost electric. Yet, beneath her growing affection, Leila was wary. She had guarded her heart for so long, protecting herself from the pain of loss. Could she truly allow herself to feel something deeper again? One rainy afternoon, while Leila was cataloging her research data, she received a phone call that would change everything. The voice on the other end was familiar yet distant. It was an old friend from her childhood, Megan, who had moved away years ago. "Leila, I hope you remember me. I have something important to tell you." "It's about Daniel," Megan said, her voice trembling. Leila's heart raced. "What do you mean? Is he broken bar? Did you find him?" "No, but I've heard rumors." "I think you need to come to the old lighthouse. There are things you need to know," Megan insisted. The mention of the lighthouse sent chills down Leela's spine. It was the last place she had seen Daniel before he disappeared. Against her better judgment, Leela agreed to meet Megan. That evening, as storm clouds gathered over Marymount, Leela made her way to the lighthouse. Memories flooded her mind as she recalled the summer nights spent there, the laughter shared, and the bond they had as siblings. The wind howled as she approached the entrance, each step heavy with trepidation. Inside, the air was damp and cool. Leela found Megan waiting for her, a look of urgency on her face. "Thank you for coming," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "What's going on, Megan? You said you had news about Daniel," Leela urged. Megan hesitated, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I've been researching some old town records. I found something that might explain his disappearance." "What do you mean?" "Just tell me," Leela pleaded, her heart racing. Megan took a deep breath. There were rumors about a secret diving expedition that Daniel was involved in. They were investigating illegal fishing practices and had evidence of something much larger, something dangerous. Leela felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What kind of danger? They believed they were onto something big, a corruption involving some local fishermen and even town officials. It's possible Daniel stumbled upon something he shouldn't have. The realization hit Leela like a tidal wave. Her brother hadn't just vanished, he might have been silenced to protect the secret he had discovered. The weight of the truth settled heavily on her heart. "Megan, if that's true, then we need to find out what happened. We need to expose this," Leela said, determination surging within her. "I agree, but we must be careful. There are people who would want to keep this hidden," Megan warned. Leela nodded, the urgency of their mission igniting a fire within her. They spent hours discussing their plan, poring over old records, and piecing together the puzzle of Daniel's disappearance. Leela knew that unearthing the truth was the only way to honor her brother's memory. As they worked late into the night, Leela found herself reaching out to Jake for help. His background in conservation and community activism made him an invaluable ally. "Jake, I need to talk to you about something important," she said when they met the next day. "What's going on, Leela?" he asked, sensing the gravity in her tone. "I've discovered information about my brother's disappearance. It involves corruption in the town, and I need your expertise to help expose it," she explained. Jake's expression shifted from curiosity to concern. "This sounds serious. Are you sure you want to dive into this? It could be dangerous." "I can't let fear hold me back any longer. I owe it to Daniel," Leela replied, her voice steady. Together, the three of them began their investigation, navigating the delicate balance between seeking the truth and protecting themselves. As they uncovered evidence of illegal fishing operations, bribes, and cover-ups, Leela's sense of purpose grew stronger. She could feel Daniel's spirit urging her on, guiding her toward justice. Yet, as they delved deeper, the stakes heightened. Anonymous threats began to surface, warning them to cease their inquiries. Leela felt a chill of fear creep into her heart. The safety of those she cared about was at risk, and she began to question whether their pursuit of truth was worth the danger it posed. One evening, after a particularly intense day of research, Leela and Jake found themselves alone in her studio, the tension between them palpable. As they discussed their next steps, Leela's emotions bubbled to the surface. "What if we can't protect ourselves? What if we lose everything?" Jake stepped closer, his eyes earnest. "Leela, we're in this together. I won't let anything happen to you. But we can't give up. Your brother deserves justice." His words resonated within her, igniting the passion she had once buried. Leela realized that this journey was not just about uncovering the truth, it was also about embracing the love that had blossomed between them. The connection she had felt with Jake was undeniable, a force that had given her strength when she felt most vulnerable. In that moment, Leela reached out, cupping Jake's face in her hands. "You've become so important to me, and I need you to know that," she whispered. Jake's expression softened, and he leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that was both tender and passionate. The world outside faded away, and for the first time in years, Leela felt alive. But as their kiss lingered, a loud crash echoed from the front of the studio, jolting them back to reality. Startled, they rushed to the window, only to find a group of men in dark clothing vandalizing Leela's car. "Get down!" Jake shouted, pulling Leela away from the window. Fear gripped her heart as they crouched together, the weight of the danger they faced suddenly feeling very real. "We need to call the police," Leela said, her voice trembling. "Not yet," Jake replied, his eyes scanning the room. "We need to gather evidence first. They can't silence us." Adrenaline surged through Leela as they quietly moved to grab her camera. They snapped photos of the vandals before they noticed the two of them. Realizing they had been spotted, the men began to move toward the studio. "Quick, through the back," Jake urged, and they fled through the rear exit. Heart pounding, they ran through the winding alleys of Marymount, weaving in and out of the shadows until they reached the safety of an abandoned warehouse by the harbor. Once inside, they paused, gasping for breath, the adrenaline slowly ebbing. "We need to regroup and figure out our next move," Jake said, his expression serious. Leela nodded, her mind racing. "We can't let them intimidate us. We need to report this to the authorities. If we have evidence, they won't be able to ignore us." Over the following days, they worked tirelessly to compile their findings, documenting every piece of evidence they had gathered. They reached out to sympathetic members of the community, seeking support and gathering allies willing to stand against the corruption that had taken root in their town. Finally, the day came when they felt ready to go public. Leela stood at the town hall podium, flanked by Jake and Megan, her heart pounding as she prepared to share their story. The room was packed with townspeople, many who had come to support her, and others who were curious about the commotion. "Thank you all for being here," Leela began, her voice steady but her hands trembling slightly. "Today, I stand before you not just as a marine biologist, but as a sister seeking justice for my brother, Daniel Bennett." A murmur rippled through the crowd, and Leela took a deep breath, steadying herself. "I have uncovered evidence of illegal activities that threaten not only our ocean but the very fabric of our community. I refuse to let fear silence me any longer. We owe it to Daniela and to ourselves to expose the truth." As Leela spoke, she could see the reactions in the audience. Some were supportive, while others exchanged nervous glances, clearly uncomfortable with the confrontation. She pressed on, sharing the details of their investigation and the threats they had faced. When she finished, applause erupted in the room, a wave of support washing over her. But Leela knew the battle was far from over. As the crowd began to disperse, she spotted a familiar face in the corner, one that sent a chill down her spine. It was one of the men who had vandalized her car. "Leela," Jake warned, sensing her tension. "We need to get out of here." But before they could leave, the man approached them, a smirk on his face. "You think you can take us down? You're just a couple of kids playing with fire." "Watch your words," Jake warned, stepping protectively in front of Leela. "You can't intimidate us." The man chuckled, glancing around the room. "You think the townspeople will rally behind you? They've got their own secrets to protect. You don't know what you're getting into." Leela's heart raced, but she refused to back down. "You're wrong. We're going to fight for what's right, and we won't let fear silence us." With that, the man sneered and walked away, but Leela could feel the threat lingering in the air. They needed to act quickly and decisively. In the days that followed, Leela, Jake, and Megan worked to gather more evidence and connect with local activists willing to join their cause. They organized rallies, raising awareness about the environmental impact of the illegal activities and pushing for accountability from those involved. As they garnered support, Leela found herself immersed in a whirlwind of emotions. The battle was exhausting, yet invigorating. She felt alive, fueled by a purpose that had long eluded her. With Jake by her side, she discovered the power of love, courage, and community in the face of adversity. One evening, as they prepared for a particularly important rally, Leela found herself reflecting on the journey they had undertaken. Standing on the shore, she looked out at the ocean, its waves crashing against the rocks. It was a reminder of both the beauty and the danger that lay beneath the surface. "Leela," Jake said, breaking her reverie, "you're doing something incredible. I admire your strength." Leela smiled, grateful for his support. "I couldn't have done this without you. You've shown me that it's okay to let people in, to trust again." Jake stepped closer, taking her hands in his. "Whatever happens next, know that I'm here for you. We'll face this together." As their eyes locked, Leela felt a surge of warmth. She had spent years hiding her feelings, afraid of vulnerability. But with Jake, she felt safe, secure in the knowledge that they were united by a shared purpose. That night, as they stood together on the beach, the wind whipped around them, carrying away the fears and doubts that had once held her captive. The ocean's depths echoed the secrets they had unearthed, and Leela realized that while the journey had been fraught with danger, it had also led her to a place of healing and hope. In the weeks that followed, their efforts began to bear fruit. The community rallied behind them, and investigations into the corruption and illegal activities commenced. Leela felt empowered, no longer burdened by the weight of her brother's disappearance but determined to honor his memory by fighting for justice. Finally, after months of perseverance, the town held a meeting to discuss the findings of the investigations. Leela, Jake, and Megan stood at the forefront, presenting their evidence and urging the community to demand accountability. As the townspeople listened, Leela's heart swelled with hope. The once quiet town of Marymount was awakening to the truth, and she could feel Daniel's presence guiding her every step of the way. The whispers of the past were transforming into a powerful voice for change. When the meeting concluded, applause erupted once more. Leela felt a sense of closure wash over her. While the pain of losing Daniel would always remain, she had taken the first steps toward healing. The town was ready to embrace its future, and she was ready to embrace her life again. In the end, Leela realized that secrets might linger beneath the surface, but the truth had a way of rising to the top. With love, community, and the courage to confront the past, she had not only uncovered her brother's legacy but had also discovered her own strength. Together with Jake, they would continue to fight for the ocean they loved, ensuring that no secret remained hidden in the depths. As the sun set over Marymount, casting golden hues across the ocean, Leela stood hand in hand with Jake, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their journey had forged an unbreakable bond, one that would withstand the tests of time and adversity. The secrets beneath the surface were no longer shackles binding her, they were the very foundation of her strength, guiding her toward a brighter future. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.